Hello and good day. This is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. This is from the Looper, explaining the ending of the movie Arrival. There's some things I disagree with and some things I agree. But since this is all theoretical with time and linear and nonlinear time and memories and understanding, who knows what is actually possible. But it is mind-bending because the time is nonlinear and you have to put it together. Pictures of the future, past, loops, a linear, nonlinear time. I think it was a movie well done and worth watching. Again, the movie is Arrival. Make some comments as we go along here. This is only about 4 to 6 minutes.
Of sci-fi drama Arrival hit theaters in 2016 and earned rave reviews from critics, thanks to Amy Adams' brilliant performance, Villeneuve's excellent direction, and a mature, focused take on the alien invasion genre. But that doesn't mean it isn't confusing. In fact, Arrival's focus on linguistics.
When we say confusing, it is confusing because the pieces are not linear, and it was purposely made that way. Alien spacecraft thinking is nonlinear as well.
Need to know about Arrival's confusing ending. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. If you want to understand this complex film, first you need to wrap your head around the linguistic theory at the center of it, which holds that our perception of reality is either altered or determined by the language we speak. An example of the hypothesis in action, the Hungarian word for raccoon, an animal that doesn't exist in Central Europe outside of television and zoos, is moso medved, which literally translates to washing bear. The idea is that
washing bear was interesting, but we have a problem with language and linguistics in period because of culture and assumptions and the usage. So language is a problem in and of itself, which the movie clearly shows.
That Hungarians' colorful term for raccoons also affects their perception of the creature itself, so that they can see and understand it differently than those of us who just call a raccoon, or a trash panda. Rewiring Louise's brain.
Yeah, someone might nickname it a trash panda because of its habits of getting into things. But Louise has to figure out where these aliens are coming from.
So, the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis states that our reality is determined by our language. In Arrival, that argument is pushed to its outer limits. Dr. Louise Banks is the one who first begins to truly learn and comprehend the heptapod's strange, nonlinear mode of communication. Thus, she's also the first to perceive reality, space, and time the same way the aliens do. The total overhaul of Louise's reality begins shortly after she teaches the heptapods her and Ian's names. While dissecting some printouts of the alien language, she has this vision of her daughter playing with a caterpillar in a field. A moment easily dismissed as a random memory of the daughter she lost. But these flashbacks intensify and appear more frequently as she learns more of the heptapod's language, leading to a...
And they do intensify, and there's a tragic story in and of her daughter, which you have to wrap your head around because when it originally starts, the daughter is actually older, like an older teenager, pre-college age, and she's dying. And it's a child by those two, but when she tells her husband, she's not married to currently, about this situation, he flips. So there's a lot more to this story than what you're going to get here in this.
A bombshell moment in which what seem like memories are now revealed to be visions of Louise's future.
I don't understand. Who is this child?
Weapon opens time.
And she learns that this is her child by him and that there are some things she can't change. There are things in our lives we can't change, but that doesn't mean that we can't accept or live with them or work with it. And there are some things we can change. I think we'll always have the ability to use this knowledge and apply it. And whether or not we can change what's going to happen in the future or not, that's another argument that is spun off of this. They seem to think that these things are fixed in a nonlinear way and you can't change them. I'm not so sure though that is true. We'll know more if we really learn about nonlinear time and how to apply it.
Dr. Banks' job is to find out why the heptapods came to Earth, leading to a global international crisis when the heptapods say that they're here to, quote, give weapon. But what Louise realizes is that the aliens don't really mean weapon. They mean tool, and the tool they intend to give humanity is their language, which will come in.
Again, this is a problem with language. It's not weapon, it's tool. But to explain this to the commander, he considers things in a warlike way, so weapon was the wrong usage and translation of that word in our understanding of it. But really, they're in a war-type situation, so maybe it is a good way to use it. But there's many different levels of battles going on here. Louise against fellow people that she's working with, and also with other countries. So there's always a battle going on in this film, one way or another.
Handy 3,000 years from now, when the heptapods face extinction and need humanity's help. Since people who speak heptapod experience time in non-linear form, they're capable of drawing on experiences from anywhere within their own existence to make choices and change events. That's how Louise is able to flash forward 18 months to the gala, where she encounters Chinese General Shang, who tells her what she said to him to stop him from starting a war of the worlds in the present. And since Shang has learned to speak heptapod himself in those intervening months, he also perceives time non-linearly, so he knows that what
And again, this is not clear in the movie. There are many things that are not clear in the movie. And to say that he learns to speak the language in 18 months, it is not evident in this ending.
he tells Louise in his timeline will be useful to her past self. Confused? Let Russ Cole help you out.
We see our space-time would look flattened.
Heptapod time is like that beer can, a flat circle. And on a flat circle, cause and effect can happen in any direction. What Louise says to Shang leads him to speak to her at the gala. But what Shang says to Louise at the gala also leads her to say what she said. And that makes perfect sense, as long as you accept one more hypothesis. Everything is predetermined.
And this is shown in the movie, but it's not that evident. So it can be argued that in the linear time it's predetermined or not predetermined, and in this nonlinear time it is predetermined. That is not definite in a movie. This is an assumption or interpretation of the movie, period.
Needless to say, Louise returns from her mental flash forward to make the phone call that saves the world, and everyone lives happily, or tragically, ever after. But what if she simply chose not to?
This tragically, they do get married, you do have the child does die evidently. They do separate again, so happily or tragically, I don't know. That's your own call on that one.
That's the bad news. She can't choose.
Now you know.
But she did choose to use this information and prevent a war, and she did use this information to tell her husband what she did and to marry him and have a child by him. So I would argue that she used these choices all the way along, even though it's in a non-linear sense.
In order for that future conversation at the gala to happen, and it does, Louise has to follow through on the phone call. This is the other big difference between linear and non-linear time. In linear time, you can make choices that alter the shape of your future. You might be able to move in only one direction, but every choice you make represents a fork in the road. In non-linear time, life is a circular track on which you can travel either backward or forwards, but there's no branching off. The existence of free will is fundamentally incompatible.
Again, I argue that that is correct. But who knows? This is all theoretical, but this is a mind bender, and I had to watch it several times to even put the pieces together. And looking at this guy's interpretation, it's his call. Mine is a little different on it. Yours will be too.
With a non-linear experience of time, which is also the heart of Arrival. Speaking heptapod gives Louise the ability to see the future, but shatters her illusions of ever being able to change it. Thanks for watching. Click the.
All right, interesting interpretation. I believe we can change our future, linear or non-linear. Those choices are accountability, and that's because of my faith and my upbringing in God. Anyhow, the choice is always ours as to what we'll do and choose to do with our life and our choices. That's why we're here, and that's why the battles are so real. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day. Watch the show Arrival. It's worth your time. If you want something that'll bend your mind a little bit on these things that we've talked about. Good day.